Starting video journal, Post University. My name's Kendall Martin. I have all my stuff here. Friday through Sunday, 66 people were shot in Chicago. 12 people was killed over the weekend. That's one person every 3 hours over the weekend through violence, senseless violence. And most of our violence come through poverty, not enough food, so people do things they should not do. Like dozens of officers and communities, they all had a cookout and a march. And on 28th, District 18, one of the hardest districts in Chicago, they did a prayer circle to try to give the community embrace and joy and love. Free samples passed out in Chinatown too to help out with the Asian violence. All right. I've read this article. A study recently published in the International Journal of the Environment Research at Public Health Watch, which found people who reported frequent hunger and thus a lack of nutrition as a child were more prone to being involved in violent acts in adulthood. And all comes down to an individual impulsive control. It is partly well known that people who cannot control their impulses commit crimes. In 2016, 6.2 million children in the United States live with food insecurity. Households are homeless. That didn't mean to get enough nutrients from food according to kids' hunger. I remember I only got my meals when I went to school. The school system, even in the summertime, they had food programs. Many nights I went hungry. It cost $28,000 to $58,000 to incarcerate one person. That money could feed 28,000 kids. Now, on to the second paper. Which turn could keep more people out of prison by giving them food and stability. Joseph, an inmate, remembers going to bed hungry most nights during his 10-year sentence in solitary confinement at California Pelican Bay Prison. Dinner mostly consists of mashed potato, bread, slice of processed meat. Never was salted, always cold. Shouting through the air vents between cells, his neighbor would count the numbers of vegetables there on their trays. 8 string beans one day, 26 peas the next day. It became almost a joke. And this is not fair, like the low nutrients. It's typical in many incarcerated systems, which calibrate budget demand on minimizing calories. Count price per meal range from $1.30 to 15 cents. Arizona Sheriff Joseph once bragged about spending 15 cents a day on his inmates. There are human beings too. Like rehabilitation start like in the prison system. You leave them with the worst. You leave them in worse shape than they came in. Like the health issues from heart disease and diabetes from improper health and just carbs and not fresh fruits and vegetables because they known to make julep out of it. Now the ones who spend the good money is the private private penitentiaries, companies. Meats are typically processed and fresh fruits are rare, partly because it is turned into booze. Prisoners are 6.4 times more likely to be sickened by spoiled food or contaminated food than a person on the outside. After staffing healthing for the prisons system expense is $12.3 billion on medical expense on inmate because of a bad food they eat. Now we could minimize some of that in a 5 year, and we gave them better food. You could save $5 billion just on diabetes and insulin and just people getting sick in prison, lack of nutrients. Also, you get better cooperation from your inmates. They seem to get along better and seem to be not so high strung or so ready to be hit somebody or just act out in rage or hate because they have their nutrients. They're not hungry. It doesn't make them think about where my next meal coming from. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed my speech. Thank you. Have a great day.